those who are genuine refugees, and that is determined again by the United Nations, will not be returned. Those who are illegal immigrants, will be returned, and it is customary international law for countries to receive their own immigrants back into their country. And if the right honourable gentleman is suggesting that we ever get to a position when you cannot return illegal immigrants to their country of origin, then he is proposing international chaos.
Socialists don't like people to do things for themselves. Socialists like to get people dependent on the state. You'll never build a great society that way.
We were full of anger. They were our people. They were the Queen's Islands. They were our territory. And we thought the days had gone when anyone belonging to United Nations attempted to take someone else's territory by conquest. Those dictators were stupid. They misjudged us.
All history shows that it is weakness which causes wars because it tempts the aggressor. All history shows the aggressor does not go to war against a strong opponent. It is the law of the bully. The bully doesn't go for someone who's strong. He goes for someone who's weak. The causes of war are when one country wants something and believes it can get it without paying too heavy a price. It will get it without paying too heavy a price if people do not have adequate defense sufficiently strong to deter an attack.
People are really rather afraid that this country might be rather swamped by people with a different culture. And you know, the British character has done so much for democracy, for law, and done so much throughout the world, that if there's any fear that it might be swamped, people are going to react and be rather hostile to those coming in. So if you want good race relations, you've got to allay people's fears on numbers.
In 1978, before she became Prime Minister, Margaret Thatcher made waves in a televised interview. She stated, "People are really rather afraid that this country might be rather swamped by people with a different culture." It was a bold claim, suggesting British culture was at risk due to immigration.
Let us never forget this fundamental truth. The state has no source of money other than the money people earn themselves. If the state wishes to spend more, it can do so only by borrowing your savings or by taxing you more. And it's no good thinking that someone else will pay. That someone else is you.
I believe that we were going towards a way of life in which people were constantly looking to the state to solve their problems and to do things for them. You know, when the state does everything for you, it'll soon take everything from you. You will then have no basis for personal freedom, political freedom, nor economic freedom.
But you know, you do have to fight to keep freedom. Because there are always people who say, oh, give a little bit more power to government, and then a little bit more, and then a little bit more. Then one day, you've got so many people employed by government that they have a vested interest in keeping more and more power in the hands of government and less in the hands of people. No, it shall not be. The governments are there to serve the liberties of the people, not to restrict them.
Thank you.
To those waiting with bated breath for that favourite media catchphrase, the U-turn, I have only one thing to say. U-turn if you want to. The ladies not for turning. And I say that not only to you, but to our friends overseas as well. And also to those who are not our friends.
They don't seem to make any concession to the fact that you're a woman, do they?
No, why should they? I mean, I don't make any concession to the fact that they're men.
No.
Illegal immigrants have to be returned to their country of origin. All levels of income are better off than they were in 1979. But what the honourable member is saying is that he would rather the poor were poorer, provided the rich were less rich. That way you will never create the wealth for better social services as we have. And what a policy! Yes, he would rather have the poor poorer provided the rich were less rich. That is the Liberal policy. Yes, it came out. He didn't intend it to, but he did. I give way to the Honourable Gentleman.
Because I happen to believe that when some criminals go out and do such hideous, cruel crimes, and in particular when they do such terrible things to children, I think they've forfeited their own right to life. And so I personally have always voted to retain capital punishment. I do not say that as a party politician. That is my personal view, and I shall continue. Some of those things they do are so barbaric. And to the very children, where else do you look for trust if you can't look for a parent? And I would bring back capital punishment myself. We shall have a vote on it. And that is the way I shall continue to vote. Not a mandatory sentence, but a sentence available to a judge for a really barbaric crime.
I will not negotiate with criminals or thugs. The Falkland Islands belong to Britain, and I want them back.
The chairman or the president of the Commission, Mr. Delors, said at press conference the other day that he wanted the European Parliament to be the democratic body of the community, he wanted the Commission to be the executive, and he wanted the Council of Ministers to be the Senate. No. No. No.
I am not for globalization. I prefer to have my own decisions under my own hand to my own people and to cooperate voluntarily with other countries of like mind.